Hi, I'm Monkey Man. I'm an octopus who reviews movies, and today's review is going to be on. Oh, wait, sorry. Let me go again. Hi, I'm Movie Man. I'm an octopus who reviews movies, and today's review is going to be on. There, now that's much better. But yeah, so Monkey Man came out like 3 weeks ago now, and you're probably wondering why I'm only talking about it now. Well, see, the thing is, I actually did go to see this movie when it released 3 weeks ago, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it because I was so busy with editing my first Omen review, and then I had to review Civil War and Abigail. But now, with what time I have, I'm gonna talk about Monkey Man. So the film was only confirmed to be releasing just a month ago, and when I heard about the film, I thought, God damn, that actually looks like a class film. Yeah, I thought it looked very good, alright. And so I went to see the film for myself a few weeks ago now when it released, and well, having seen the movie, what do I think? Yeah, I have to say, this movie is really good. I really liked this film. Yeah, it was very good. So, getting into my thoughts on the film, start things off, the cinematography I think is actually genuinely really good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I actually think the movie is genuinely shot very well. Like, there's a lot of like really good shots in the movie. I mean, especially that one shot which has pretty much been all over the marketing, that red and black shot of him, coming out from like the elevator. Yeah, honestly, really good shot. But yeah, there's a lot of other genuinely very good shots in the movie. I think this is honestly a really well shot film, and I do like the way that the action sequences are shot. They kind of do go pretty much all out with the way they film the action sequences. Yeah, I do like the way the movie is shot. I think it's a very well shot film. So yeah, I think the cinematography in the movie is honestly very good. As for the editing in this film, I do think the movie is edited pretty well. I've seen a few people kind of complain about, like, the way that the movie's edited, but honestly, I think the movie is actually genuinely edited very well. I mean, I noticed the film kind of goes like a little over the top with the editing at some points, but I think it does honestly kind of work. You know, given it's an action movie, and yeah, I think the very kind of crazy editing kind of helps kind of get the entertainment value from the film. Yeah, so I think it is well edited. I do like how fast paced it gets with the editing. But yeah, so I think this shot well, and I think it's edited well also. So yeah, so it's the editing here is very good. That's for the pacing in this film now. this movie is exactly 2 hours long. Maybe the 2 hour runtime can honestly be felt a bit. Like, I didn't really think that the movie was super quick. Like, I mean, I felt it could kind of, take its time at certain points. Um, but I didn't really mind that, to be honest. Yeah, I do overall think the pacing was very solid. Like during the action sequences, the film can get a bit more fast paced. But not. Oh yeah, it kind of does make for the film a bit more entertaining now. What I will say is that I think the second act of the movie is a bit slow. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, some people were to zone out a bit during the second half, because the second act really is kind of where the movie does kind of start to get a bit slower. I think the pacing could have been a bit better during the second act, but to be fair, I can kind of understand, like, why they kind of had it a bit slower in the second act. And I think during the film's third act it really does pick up from that, because during the third act there's a whole bunch of action sequences, and it pretty much does make up for the second act being a bit slow. So overall, while the pacing wasn't the best, it was very solid. Um, Now we get to the sound and music in the film, and I actually think the soundtrack here is very solid. Like, the film pretty much mainly consists of a bunch of, Indian music, which, isn't really a shocker. Yeah, but, I mean, it is honestly, a good score. Like, I mean, there is genuinely some really good music. I like some of the music during the action sequences, and I also particularly really liked the music during kind of some of the training scenes where, he's kind of, preparing himself. Yeah, I think the music during some of those scenes in particular is very good. So, overall, music in this movie is really good. Uh, Now let's talk about the characters and the performances from the cast. Now, really, there's only kind of one, main character who we have in this film. That of course being our lead character, who is known in the film as Kid. I find Kid to be a really compelling protagonist. I feel like you do honestly like his character, and I like how he's not really a proper, well built action hero from the very start of the movie. He kind of just starts off not being a very fit fighter, but it's only as the film goes on that he slowly kind of starts to, build himself up. He was genuinely a really compelling character. I feel like you did honestly like his character, and I felt you did root for him to get his revenge. And, like, in terms of the performance, I think Dev Patel honestly did a really good job in this role. I think he really kind of displayed his character's emotions very well, and I think he really did let you into his character's psyche, and and you are convinced that he is, a tragic guy who wants revenge. It's really like Cage as a character, and Dev Patel was genuinely really good. Now there's a bunch of other supporting characters who appear throughout the movie, and well, none of them are much in depth as our main character, but well, they're not great or really the most memorable characters. I think they're all very likable characters, and like really influence kids' actions throughout the movie. I like help them out kind of a bit, particularly during the third act. They're solid supporting characters, and I think some of them are kind of funny in their bit parts. Now again, they're not amazing or particularly very memorable, but for the roles they're meant to serve in the story, they do that pretty well. Um, like the villains in the movie, what you see of them, I think you pretty much do hate these villains. You want to see them, get their comeuppance for their actions. Now, they're not particularly great villains, but I think the movie does a good job at making you hate them, and making you want to see them get killed. So yeah, I think they are solid villains, and they're fairly intimidating from what we see of them. Well, aside from Dev Patel, there's not really anyone else too famous in the movie, for the most part anyways, but one other very notable actor who is in this film is Charlton Copley. There's a bit of a Chappie reunion in there with him and Dev Patel. But yeah, Copley has a small role in this film. His name is Tiger, and well, he's basically this like ring announcer at like the wrestling that kid goes to. Now it's not like a particularly huge role in the film. It's a fairly small enough role, but to be fair, I think from what screen time Copley gets, he does genuinely play the role really well, and he really does ham it up. And despite his character not being in the film for a lot of it, he does make his scenes memorable just based on his performance and his screen presence alone. So yeah, while Kate really is the central focus of the movie and he's the standout, the other characters, while not great, play their supporting roles pretty well. And I think overall the acting is genuinely very good, even if a lot of the supporting cast aren't given much to, they do play the roles pretty well. And I think Dev Patel is a standout in the lead role, but Charlton Copley does well also in his supporting role, so the characters and the acting overall are good. While the plot of the movie, it's not really the most original plot. You can kind of see like comparisons and kind of some inspirations taken from other places, but it does sound like an interesting plot where it's just about this Indian man who wants revenge for the death of his mother when he was a boy. Yeah, it honestly does make for an interesting plot. And it definitely going for an action movie, and I think the film pretty much does well with that. It has some very good action, and Like, and I think throughout the film you are rooting for Kiss to get his revenge. And I think like the action sequences are genuinely like really good. Very entertaining to watch. As I said, the movie gets a bit slow in the second act, but it does kind of make sense to do that. As during the second act, it's kind of about how Kistoy starts to, build himself up and get more fit, so he can go and take out these people who he seeks his revenge against. The movie does kind of delve into like the government of India and kind of how they kind of treat like a lot of the trans who live there. Honestly, it actually does make for some genuinely interesting commentary, and the film actually does a solid job at this, and it is compelling to watch, and yeah, overall it does make for a genuinely really good revenge plot, and like it does make for a fun action movie. Like you really do enjoy a lot of the action sequences now. Now, like the thing is with the trailers for this movie, a lot of people had a feeling like this film was going to be kind of like basically an Indian John Wick, because that was kind of what they made the film to kind of look out to be from the trailers. But to be honest, this movie really isn't Indian John Wick. This movie is really kind of its own thing. Although what is funny is that there's actually a scene in the film where John Wick is actually mentioned, as a movie in this world. So that part was actually kind of funny, not gonna lie. But all I'll say is don't go into this film expecting it to be Indian John Wick, because really I think there's actually a bit more to the film than just that. Um, but yeah, overall it's a good plot, a good revenge story, and I do think it did well with the action elements. Um, so in terms of the narrative structure for the film now, the movie kind of mainly focuses on Kid and kind of how he wants to get his revenge, and again it is a very compelling revenge narrative, kind of thanks to like the to the way it's told from Dev Patel's performance, and yeah, it is interesting. It makes you want to see what's gonna happen, like especially when with all the action sequences. It's a good watch, and like as I said, the movie delves into the corruption of the Indian government, and like the movie kind of shows like how kind of the trans population are treated, and just basically how corrupt the government are, and yeah, honestly, it actually does make for a really interesting subplot. I like how it fits in with the main narrative, and I do think it made for some pretty decent commentary, and as I said, the way it fits in with the whole revenge action narrative is done very well. So yeah, honestly, I think the narrative structure in this film is genuinely really good. Like the way that they kind of had some of these subplots fit in with the main plot was done genuinely really well. So overall, I would say the narrative structure was very good. So overall, Monkey Man was a really good film. It was shot well, and there was some good music. There was some very good performances. I think Dev Patel really he did well because he's not just the main actor, he's also the film's director and writer, and he did well both on screen and behind the screen. Um, I think it had a really compelling plot, some good commentary, and some very good action as well. Overall, it's a really good film. Now I don't think it's absolutely fantastic. I do think a lot of the supporting characters can be a little forgettable, and as I said, the pace kind of does get a bit too slow during the second act. But outside of that, it's a very good movie. And as I said, do not go into this expecting it to be Indian John Wick, because it's a bit different to that. But want to see, like a revenge action movie, and kind of if you want to see something like set in India, has its slow moments but has its action moments as well. This movie is definitely worth watching, especially if that seems like you're into. So overall, a really good movie, definitely worth checking out. So with that, I'm going to give Monkey Man an 8 out of 10. So with that, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.